Hi Leos, Trishna here. Welcome to your September 2021 Love, Psychic, and Tarot reading. So what I'm feeling for you, Leo, this September of 2021 is I feel like on the external level, things are going really well in your relationship. I feel like recently you have been out and about with your partner. Maybe you've been going out to a lot of different restaurants, different bars. Maybe you've been traveling with this person. Maybe you've been going to different plays and going to different events and different shows. You've been having really good wine, really good food, really good liquor and cocktails with this individual. And so on the external surface, it looks like everything is going really, really well in your relationship. And you're doing a lot of these really fun things that can be very romantic and very bond building and connection building with your partner. So that's really good. However, I feel like on the inside, Leo, you are in this mode where you're feeling this sense of suspicion, maybe, or you're questioning things in the relationship. You're wondering if your partner really means certain things that they say, if they're maybe making promises that they don't intend to keep. You're wondering if your partner is a good person. Maybe you're wondering if you're a good person because you have all of these doubts and these suspicions. And if you're suspicious, and does that mean that you're not a trustworthy person because why would you be suspicious? So I feel like you have a lot of these thoughts going on inside. So on the surface, on the outside, everything in your relationship is rosy and wonderful and great. But on the inside, I feel like there is a little bit of turmoil that is currently going on. And Leo, I feel like these questions are good ones to ask. I think it is really important that we ask these kinds of questions about our relationships, about our partners, because we do want to make sure that we are with a good person or somebody that really aligns with our personal values. So I think these are really good questions for you to ask, Leo. I think this exploration is good. I do want to caution you, Leo, not to go too far down the rabbit hole though, because you can't ever fully know a person. That's something that takes years, decades to really uncover. There are many layers to an individual, and there's so many paths that life can take us on, each one of us individually on our journey that can shift us and change us. So I think these questions are good to ask, but don't go too deep into the details and too much into the questioning. I think these are just things to consider and be aware of. And if there's any red flags, then of course, you step away. But if you're really not finding that much, or if you're really not sure is this a good person or not, then just consider that maybe you're overthinking it, or maybe you're being a little bit overly negative about the situation, and just let things play out. And just from my personal experience, I'll give you the kind of mentality that I used to have. So for me, I always felt like people were always in a rush to get married. And I always thought that in their minds, I thought, you know what, I just want to get married. And then once I get married, then everything will be perfect. Everything will be fine. And yeah, but for me, I guess the reason why it took me so long in my relationship journey is I never thought about things that way. I wanted everything to be perfect in the relationship. I wanted to make sure I was with the perfect person and we worked out all of our kinks before we got married. Because in my mind, marriage didn't mean that everything was magically fixed all of a sudden. I wanted everything to be fixed beforehand so that I knew that I was committing to something that was going to last. And so I think these are two different extremes to the situation. People going straight for marriage, thinking everything will be rosy after that. If I could just get them to marry me, everything will be fine. And my path of, hey, I want to make sure everything's fine, that we battle everything out first. And then once we've gone through all of that, then I'll know that like this is probably going to work out really well. And those are two different extremes where now I've realized that you keep learning about somebody, and the things that maybe you thought about someone beforehand, those kinds of things can change and they can evolve, and that sometimes it's really good to have more trust in a relationship. So that's just something that I want to share with you, Leo, is maybe you're being a little bit too questioning of things right now, like too much. Again, I think it's good that you're questioning. I think it's really important. You should question a lot of things in life, especially when you're making these major decisions about who you're going to spend your time with, who you're going to invest your love in, who you're going to open your heart up to. But don't overdo it. Find that balance in being cautious, but also really being open to things changing. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, like I was pleasantly surprised. There are still some kinks, I guess, that we didn't really work out before we got married, but like I'm so glad that I did. Like that I didn't work out every single little kink that I wanted to. Like it's definitely been one of the best decisions of my life. So it does really take a balance and an understanding that things can be better than sometimes we think that they are. Our emotions can really cloud how we perceive things. So just be cautious with that. This is what I'm getting for you, Leo. So now let's get into the tarot cards. All right, Leo, so looking at the tarot cards, the first one that we have is the Strength card. And I know my camera's a little bit blurry, but we have the Strength card as the first card. And what I feel like this is trying to share with you, Leo, is I feel like there's an aspect of you that knows that you may be overthinking things, because it's kind of like you go through this, not roller coaster ride, but it's like right now you're overthinking things. Right now you're really considering things. Right now you are questioning a lot of things and wondering if certain intentions are pure from somebody else, or if maybe they have another agenda or something like that. Agenda may be a strong word, but you have these kinds of doubts and questions and fears that are coming up. But you also know that just a moment ago, everything was really wonderful and beautiful and amazing. So how can things be really amazing one moment and then you start having these doubts in another moment? So I think a part of you understands that some of this is really stemming more from inside you than what's actually going on in the relationship, that the other person isn't really causing a sense for doubt. It's really something that's coming a little bit more from within you. Again, I do think that this is something to explore. These are good questions to ask, because if there is something that's coming up in you, yes, a part of it could be that it's just you and you need to work through certain things, but another part of it is also always that there are important things that you do need to address and look at. And it doesn't mean that if a lot of negative things come up that there's a lot of negative things in the relationship necessarily. It just means that there are things that you need to look at and then evaluate a little bit more closely. These negative things that are coming up are things that are worth you evaluating and looking at and exploring and, looking into. So I think there's kind of a bunch of things going on here. Is you are having these thoughts, a part of it is likely you, but I want you to also know that a part of it means that there is something that you need to look at within the relationship, not just within yourself, and address. And I think when things start getting a little bit when you start feeling like you're a little bit too much in your mind, that just go pet your pet. If you have a dog or a cat or something like that, just spend some time just chilling, maybe thinking about whatever you're thinking about, but also just petting your beloved little pet. And I think that will help you think through things in a different way, because the magic and energy of our pets can be very healing and can really add a little bit of positivity to our vibe and to our mentality. So I think it'll help balance out some of the things that you're thinking if you think these things while you are petting your cute little pet. And the next card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles. So I feel like this kind of goes with the Strength card, where you are thinking these thoughts, but you also know that it's kind of like out of context, because everything has been going really well up until now, but then all of a sudden you're kind of going through a little bit of a dark phase yourself. So I think this goes along with the Eight of Pentacles, where you understand that relationships do take work, and it is really about putting in the investment, and it is about working things out and talking through things and figuring out the nuances and understanding when the nuances matter and when you need to keep it focused on the big picture. So I think this is a mentality that you do understand. It's just that you're a little bit out of your element right now, where you are somebody who likes to work on your relationship, or somebody who's learning about working on relationships, and this is something that you are exploring and growing into, but you're kind of a little bit in a different phase right now, just within yourself with some of this turmoil, but you do understand that relationships take work. I feel like some of this fears that you're having comes from the Seven of Swords, because with the Seven of Swords, there's this energy of, you have some fears because you're worried that you are going to kind of sneak off and leave your partner behind, or you have fears that maybe your partner is going to sneak off and leave you behind. And one, this is a general reading, so keep that in mind. Two, the energies can be a little bit mixed or flipped or mirrored between you and the individual that we're talking about in this situation. And three, a lot of times the fears that we have that we think another person's going to bring or might make a reality in our lives, a lot of times those fears are something that we also have about ourselves, creating in the other person's life, maybe in a different way. So there's always a lot of mirroring that's going on in a relationship. So you have this fear that either you are going to want to leave your partner behind, or your partner is going to want to leave you behind. And it's probably both of those happening in your mind at the same time. I do want you to know, though, that the guidance here is the Ten of Pentacles. I don't think that your partner is going to be the one that is going to leave you, more than likely. I feel like really it's really just your fears that they might do so, or your fears that you are going to do so. And if you are worried that you're going to be the one that just wants to leave, then I think what you need to do is go back to the Strength card, which I feel is mirrored in this Ten of Pentacles, which is think through things while you are petting your dog. Think through things while you're petting your cat. Think through things while you're petting your rat, or whatever your pet is that you like to pet. Think through things then, and just kind of chill out, because you don't want to make a decision when you are in a heightened state of emotion, whether it's heightened happiness or heightened negativity. You want to make a decision when you're in a more neutral, calm, peaceful state, because that's when you are at your most balanced. You're not overemphasizing the positives of things. You're not overemphasizing the negatives of things. You are in a more neutral state where you can make a clearer decision. So I would recommend that you chill out, you relax, you go pet your dog, and you just think about whatever it is that you need to think about. And when you feel like you're in a more balanced state, when you're not like, yeah, I really want to do this, or I would never want to do this. You know, those are like extremes, when you're not so pushy about your decision. You know, like when you're just kind of like, I think this is the best thing to do. You're not like, I have to do it this way, or, you know, make sure you're not in a very heightened emotional state, or that you're very clear and like, this is how it has to be, whether it's positive or negative, just in a very neutral, you know, I think this is what I need to do. When you're in that state, that's a decision that you should likely move forward with if it feels right for you. So that is what I'm getting for you, Leo. I hope that this reading gave you the guidance that you were looking for and the guidance that you needed. If you found it helpful, please give me a like and a subscribe. If there's anybody that you know who could benefit from these kinds of readings, please share this video or my channel with that individual. If you are interested in a one-on-one reading, I do offer one-on-one live over video readings, and I do also offer personalized audio recorded readings, and I have a few different kinds that you can check out on my sales page. We do love readings, obviously, and then also I have other different variations of readings that you might be interested in. One is, for example, a year ahead kind of reading that you can do in the new year, or you can do it now if you just want to see your year ahead, or it's something that would be really nice to do on your birthday just to see how your next year of your birth year is going to work out, or it's a really good gift to give to someone else in your life for their birthday. So with that, I will leave you here, and I will see you in my next video, Leo.